Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, well, I'm continuing my look at classic albums from my CD collection. Or ones that I think are classic, anyhow. They all are. Anyhow, this is The Scream by Siouxsie and the Banshees from 1978. And this is their debut album. And the next one will be Join Hands from 1979. And this album was inspired by the 1968 film The Swimmer. Burt Lancaster, the old concept of the cover photo as well is by Paul Wakefield. So that is the sort of inspiration behind design of this album. Now, Siouxsie and the Banshees were formed in 1976 by Siouxsie Sioux and bass guitarist Steve Severin. They did 11 studio albums and disbanded in 1996. Susan and Severin also had a group that they did together called The Creatures. And in 2004, Siouxsie Sioux went solo. So this was recorded in August 1978 over 1 week. Just a week, yes. And it was released on the 13th of November 1978. Recorded at RAK Studios, London. The label was Polydor. And it was produced by Siouxsie and the Banshees and Steve Lillywhite. Steve Lillywhite, what a pedigree he is as a producer. Some of the bands that he has produced. BDI, Big Country, Chris Cornell, Crowded House, Joan Alma Trading, Johnny Thunders, Kirsty McCall, Penetration, Peter Gabriel, Talking Heads, The Pogues, Psychedelic Furs, the Rolling Stones, Toyah, The Smiths, U2, Ultravox, and XTC. These were just some of the artists that he has produced. What an amazing collection of artists there that he's been involved in. Fantastic. So, the lineup of the band. We have got Siouxsie Sioux on vocals and production. We've got Stephen Severin on bass and production. We've got John McKay on guitars, saxophone, and production. And Kenny Morris on drums, percussion, and production. Now, we'll go through the track listing. We've got the first track is Pure, and this was written by Siouxsie, Severin, McKay, and Morris. Then we've got Jigsaw Feeling, and this is Severin and McKay again. We've got Overground, which is Severin McKay. We have got Carcass, which is Severin and Fenton. Sorry, Siouxsie and Fenton. And then we've got Helter Skelter. This is the Lennon-McCartney song, which is really quite controversial at the time. And they've covered this when they did it on the White Album. But this is their cover of Helter Skelter. Brilliant. Then we've got Mirage, which is Severin and McKay. Then we've got Metal Postcard, very well known in terms of performance, this song. This is Siouxsie and McKay. Nicotine Stain, Siouxsie and Severin. Suburban Relapse, Siouxsie and McKay. And Switch, Siouxsie and McKay. So that was the original album release of tracks. Notice there's no other singles on there. And as bonus tracks, we've had, of course, the single Hong Kong Garden and the B-side, which was The Staircase Mystery. So they're the bonus tracks on this release. But originally, there was no single on here, which is interesting, the way that is. In many ways, albums at one time, singles were singles. This was very much a production thing that was produced at that time. One thing the punk era did was it put a lot of emphasis on singles, and groups were releasing a lot of singles before the albums. And here we have a case where the single was seen as important and not on the album originally, but then it's been put on. But of course, I mean, Hong Kong Garden, what a track that is. It is an amazing track. Absolutely amazing. It's still, when I hear it now, you just get excited when you hear that sound. Oh, yeah. And of course, they developed their sound as they went on and became quite a commercial success with a lot of their music. And I say 11 studio albums. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So my overall impression of this album has always been very favourable in terms of how outstanding it is as a debut album. I mean, it's a debut album, this, and it really, it's just wonderful the way it just does the drums, the way those drums play, and the vocals that just sort of have that wonderful. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like this at all, and you can see why it was so influential. Groups like Joy Division have actually mentioned this as a big influence on them. I think it's Hook who has talked about this before, how influential this was, and him being the bass player as well. It's interesting with the Joy Division sound. But yeah, I can see that in this album. It's just so outstanding. Absolutely love it. I've always seen this album as something a bit more different in terms of the releases. You know, even though we put them in as punk and new wave, there's always something a bit more about this. They weren't easy to label. I think that's very true. I never saw them live, actually, Siouxsie and Banshees, though I have heard some more negative things about their live performance at this time. But I absolutely love this album because it's so different. It stands out. It's an album I can hear now and think, wow, this is different. This is what made them so influential, really. And I always love debut albums, because I always think of this to me is as influential as Talking Heads 77, which was just an amazing, influential album. This is in that league. And of course, I think it's fair to say they developed some more commercial sounding songs, and they did have a lot of commercial chart success, which is perhaps more moved away from this first debut album, but they've always had a lot of innovation, and they produced the singles, but they all produced some great albums as well. They say 11 studio albums says it all. Really, they were a really great group, and I'm really pleased I've got this in my collection. It's highly recommended as a debut album. And before I go, there it is. You've seen that on there, but there's a back there, and I say the two bonus tracks on there, Hong Kong Garden. There's the disc, and yeah, the back of the album there. Yeah, that's it. Fantastic album, and highly recommended. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's me just going on, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. I say that. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I put out videos. If you look on the playlists, you can see that I've done more music, but a lot of what I do is film reviews, TV shows, all that kind of thing. And just have a look in the playlist. You might find something that you might enjoy. And if you like this video, please give this video a like. It gets it out to YouTube and all algorithms and all that. Hopefully other people might enjoy it. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments and I always answer them. And that's it. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.